You're watching Man Coverage with Nate Schmidt and James Bonneville on National Streaming Sports.
Good morning, everyone. I hope the music worked because last week it did not. And we were standing here looking like idiots, dancing to music that didn't, for some reason, transfer to on air. But it is August 17th. This is Man Coverage. I am Knoxville Nate Digital and James Bonneville. We are here to talk college football once again. Lots of news this week, so we have plenty to discuss. James, how are you?
Any better be a crime.
Good. Well, I mean, I think we've got to start at the, the biggest news of the week, which would be the joke of a punishment that was dished out to the Michigan Wolverines for cheating in Ann Arbor. And, we knew it was going to drop. We knew everything was coming. And, towards the end, we kind of got the word of what was going to be done. And then it came out. James, what do you think about paying somebody or getting paid for somebody cheating and just making them pay money? The big thing I heard was, when there was asked questions of why the wins weren't vacated or postseason bans, they were like, well, a lot of the coaches and the players that were involved in this are gone. And I'm like, well, in 2012, when the Buckeyes got in trouble because they traded awards for tattoos, Jim Tressel was dismissed. All 6 players that were dismissed were gone. The Urban Meyer came in, led them to a 12-0 record, and they couldn't play in the postseason. So why is it different now?
I agree. I honestly, I'd like to play devil's advocate with you on this one. I can't. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, yeah, there's some recruiting restrictions, but I mean, I've seen teams with far more harsh recruiting restrictions for far less. There was a linebacker coach at Air Force who was recruiting during COVID. They couldn't do official visits for a year. And that seems more freaking hardcore than this. I mean, now the NCAA title, I get, because the NCAA, the only title that they do not regulate is the college football playoff. So I get that. I don't like it, but I get it. But I mean, you've got show cause orders for Sharon Moore. But it starts the second he leaves Michigan. I mean, that's like you get in trouble, but the second you're gone, then the punishment starts, and then you start off with a 3-game suspension, which 2 of them are already in place, and oh wow, the third game is against New Mexico.
Oh
wow,
no! Not and he got to pick the first 2 games.
Yeah,
I mean, absolute joke, dude.
I mean, 8-year show cause for Connor Stallion. I mean, seriously, how is that not a lifetime ban?
Yeah.
I mean, honest to God, SEC Shorts possibly had the best skit making fun of Connor Stallion. And then a 10-year show cause for Jim Harbaugh if he ever comes back to college football.
Which he's not.
Wow. You really think he is now, what, 61, 62? Do you really think he's going to want to come back to college football?
No.
And they were reviewed as a repeat offender. I'm not going to lie. The Big Ten, I mean, the NCAA has been neutered so much during this whole process after the House settlement. I think they just want to get this behind them. But this is an absolute utter disgrace. But you and I both know if this was Sister Mary's of the Deaf, Dumb, and Blind, they would have gotten blown up to the point where I question if they even have a football program today. I mean,
if this was any other team besides Michigan,
yeah,
they would be hammered. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. If it was any other team besides the team it was, they'd probably be, banished from playing football. I just don't understand how you can go out, do this investigation, which the investigators did a great job. They uncovered that all this was happening. They got all the evidence they needed. So you go, you get all the evidence, you get all the proof, and then you do nothing about it. That's what pisses me off. You go out and you do this investigation. You find all the evidence. You find that they were cheating, and then you let them off with nothing, essentially. You make them pay a fine.
You got to remember, it's not the investigators that lay down the penalties. It's the committee itself. Right. And the committee, I mean, the prosecution did its job.
Correct.
I mean, they laid out a case that, quite frankly, I mean, I don't know how you'd lay it out any better. Yet the judge in this case completely punts the ball. I mean, this is just.
Well, and they uncovered that there were lies and that there was obstruction of the investigation when Sharon Moore came out and said, "Oh, I just deleted those text messages between me and Connor Stallion because I was out of memory on my phone." Then they go back and do the investigation, get the phone data, and find out that he deleted them the day that the Connor Stallion story broke. And then he admitted, "Yeah, well, I saw the news, and so I deleted them." And it was like, and then they said, that Jim Harbaugh didn't know anything, but then they found emails where he references this. So he did know. And it's like, I don't understand. Why can you punish some teams and not punish others? Why can you hammer some programs and not do anything of substance to others? Now, everyone knows that they cheated. Everyone knows that this was a joke and that they were stealing signals. James, it's not a coincidence that this team was 2-4 and struggling to beat anyone the year of 2020. And then, they were considering firing Mr. Harbaugh. And then all of a sudden they started winning games. Well, it's easier to win games when you know what play is coming, James. Trust me. That was the one thing that made me good at football. I wasn't big. I wasn't that strong. I wasn't that fast. But I understood the game. And I knew what play was coming by how people lined up, by, what the lineman's stance, whatever it was. But I didn't know really what play was coming. If I knew that, I would have been the greatest player of all time. And I don't understand why, why this is happening and why they're making a joke of this game. And why do we even have the NCAA anymore? Why do we even have any rules if we're not going to enforce them and do anything when people break the rules? I mean, I think it's time for the conferences to break off, leave the NCAA, govern themselves, create new rules, and then make the teams follow them because no one else is doing that. I mean, my nuts.
I think that's already happening. I think with that House agreement and that new group, I think NCAA enforcement for football, especially, and probably basketball, is gone. And we're going to look at the wild, wild west here for a bit. And what's that going to mean for football as a whole? I don't know. I mean, right now, the one thing everybody's got hope. Yeah, I mean, there's going to come a time when there's going to be you walk into the season, and what hope do you have? 8-4? I mean, unless you're Texas A&M. I mean, I don't know. I'm worried about the game right now. I'm truly worried about the game. And but every time something happens, there's always an autocorrect. So we'll see what's going to come down the pike on this one. But I mean, I think we've beaten this freaking drum enough with Ann Arbor, don't you? Let's get to something at least people are going to be happy about and talking about the upcoming season.
Well, I have to vent or I'm going to have a heart attack. So you got to let me yell for a little while. And I did. It just made me so mad. And then all the Michigan fans that were saying that they didn't cheat are now like, well, it wasn't that bad, and that's why we weren't hammered that bad. And they're no longer saying, well, we didn't cheat. They're just saying it doesn't matter because according to them, it doesn't.
Anybody can find a way to justify whatever the hell they want to justify. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's been done. So, yeah, let's move on. Let's talk to real football. Michigan's not a real football team anyway. You lose 5 games in the season, you're not good. And we shouldn't be discussing you regardless. Let's talk about what else happened this week. And that is down in Tuscaloosa. And your boy, Kalen DeBoer, lost 4 games in year 1, replacing the legend, the GOAT, Nick Saban. And he's named his starter. That's Ty Simpson. The former 5-star quarterback out of Westview High School in Martin, Tennessee. This kid's a class of 2022, James. So it's like he's been in college for 9 years already.
Yeah.
But he's never really gotten substantial playing time. Talk to me about this kid. Talk to me about Ty Simpson. What do you think about him as the quarterback? Do you think it was the right choice? Do you think this guy is going to be good from the get-go? Talk to me.
I do think this is the right choice. And it's a maturity factor. You look at DeBoer's offense, it is complicated by leaps and bounds. And I thought really the only person that had a realistic chance of maybe taking this job was Austin Mack, who came with him from Washington. People forget about that. That was a recruit from Washington. I just think Ty Simpson, he's put his time in there, and it may not be ability per se, but I think it's understanding of the offense itself and controlling the ball. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about turnovers. If he can not turn the ball over, and I think and get themselves in the 3rd and short with that offensive line, I mean, they should be able to do something. I think there's some other problems there, but I think Ty Simpson was the right move. I think people wanting Keelan Russell to start was a pipe dream. That's an awful lot for a true freshman to start at Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, do you think this is a more of a reaction to year 1 where they came in and lost, 4 games and got beat by a freshman and backup laden Michigan team in the bowl game? Do you think this is a reaction to wanting to have someone that you trust out there more than maybe somebody who's a little bit more talented like Russell?
I don't think so, honestly. I think year 1, I mean, let's be honest. The talent pool at Alabama has gone down. Even the last year of Nick Saban, it wasn't as good as in prior years. They're not as deep. They're not as talented. I mean, before you'd have 3-4 guys. Now, I mean, you got Ryan Williams and who else? I mean,
Jaden Horton, or excuse me, Isaiah Horton, the redshirt junior transfer. You've got Bernard at the other wide receiver spot.
Bernard's sketchy though. His hands are like, I remember him at Washington. His hands are sometimes there, sometimes not. I mean, I mean, athletically, absolutely, but it just seemed like Bama was always just hanging on by a dear thread last year. And I mean, quite frankly, Jalen Milroe was a lot better than people gave him credit for.
Yeah, I think he won a lot of those games that they were in jeopardy of losing and made that team better than they gave him credit for. Now, were there some erratic throws? Yeah. Were there some interceptions that probably shouldn't have been, not been made? Yeah. But that guy was a gamer. That guy was a winner. That guy was a stud. There's a reason that Seattle took a chance on him and that he's probably going to end up starting for Seattle by the end of the season. He's damn good, and he's a really superior athlete. Jam Miller, he's not Derrick Henry. So I'm not sure what this is going to look like.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be a national championship winning team in Alabama. I mean, I think they'll be possibly improved, but I mean, do you think this is a team that can win the championship, James?
Win the NCAA championship?
The NCAA.
No, I do not. I mean, granted, I've seen teams pull it together, but I mean, they got parts, but they need more than just parts to get there. I mean, in the SEC, yeah, I could see a realistic chance they could win the SEC, but the NCAA, no, I can't. Yeah. I really just can't.
Yeah, and that's my contention as well. And let's talk about real quick another one that we, I think, discussed in the spring. that Julian Sain was going to be the starter. Obviously, they make it official. I mean, why not? We're a week away from a couple weeks away from the Texas game. I think this is actually smart. When we came on the air last week for our Big Ten preview, I said that I wanted them to go ahead and name it, get the starter, the bulk of the reps for the next couple of weeks. Whoever it is needs time. Do you agree with me that this was the right move to make, to go ahead and say Julian's our guy?
Quite frankly, I would have made this move before spring ball. I understand why they didn't. Now, the weird part about this is I've been hearing in a few other podcasts that they may be bringing Kleinholz in Wildcat situations, like inside the 10 or 15, or third and short. I don't know if I buy it, but that is being talked about out there. But honestly, Julian Sain, especially when you're kicking off against Texas, smart move. The smart move, putting him in there.
Yeah, this kid is a smart young man. He is talented. He's got arm talent. He can read defenses. The only thing that some of these Buckeyes lack is experience. And that's it. I mean, talent's there. The skills are there. And you know what? If any coaching staff can get these guys ready, I trust Ryan Day. I trust Larry Johnson to get this defensive line ready. So I think naming this guy the starter now, like you said, it could have been done earlier, but why? It maybe, I think they already knew. I mean, obviously, they knew this guy was going to be the starter. I think they prepared knowing that. So I'm not going to kill them for not telling the world this information. I think behind the scenes, they knew that Julian was their guy, and they were practicing accordingly. But you got to get number 2 ready. You need a backup ready to go. We both know that each quarterback is one play away, one strain of a muscle away from the next guy going in. So why not have everybody foaming at the mouth thinking that they might be the starter and practicing, accordingly. You know
Correct.
what I mean?
When you got that pressure constantly being put on you, you're trying to be better and better every day. I think waiting till now is, made Julian Sain really work for that job. Because if they named it early, who knows? He may have taken his foot off the gas. We don't know.
I agree.
I mean, quite frankly, I look at Sain. If he stayed at Alabama, we'd be having a different conversation. His starting quarterback would be down there too as well. I think Sain would have been the man.
I agree 100%. So we got that knocked out. Let's go move on and talk a little bit about coaches for a second. I know last week we discussed all the coaches that are new to the game. Their Cinderella stories are happening right now where they've got a little, they got till midnight at least to prove themselves. Let's talk about some guys that are at 11 o'clock and midnight's coming up in an hour. And I think the most probably the highest profile one that we need to talk about is out in Oklahoma. Norman's coach, Brent Venables. This guy, obviously, we know him. He was a really good defensive coordinator, helped the Clemson Tigers win a number of national championships. Things have not gone to plan in Norman. I think, what does he have to do, I guess, James, this year to win the hearts of the Boomer Sooner Nation? What does he have to do this year to keep his job?
God, that's a tough one because, I think it's more than record. I think it's looking at that buyout too as well, which is at $44.8 million at the end of the year. Honestly, I think you got to go 8-4.
You think that saves his job if he wins 8 games?
I think he's got to beat Michigan. I think he's got to beat Michigan at home. I think he needs an early run because you look at his schedule. I think 8-4 is pretty realistic. I think they could do it. There's some games they're going to probably be, not predicted to win, but I think 8-4 will keep him the job. I think 6-6. I think 6-6 he's gone. I think he's history.
Yeah,
I think if he has a bad loss, it's not going to be pretty.
I'm thinking more. I understand the buyout, and that's a lot of money. It's $44 million after this season.
After this season, it's 44.8.
Oh wow, yeah,
that's a lot of money.
That plays a factor, I would guess.
That's the problem with these coaches. Is they have, even though they're playing bad, they've got so much leverage. We sit there and we can talk about Jimbo Fisher all we want. Whoa, Texas A&M did it. Yeah. but that's the exception, not the rule. I mean, but before that, it was Gus Malzahn's at 19 million,
20
and we
million,
thought
yeah.
20 million, and we thought that was crazy.
Yeah. Well, stranger things have happened. I mean, I
True.
wouldn't be shocked if he did go 8-4 and they pulled the trigger. I wouldn't be shocked, is all I'm saying. I think for fans to be, I mean, fans aren't the ones that make the decisions, obviously, but I do think they influence some decisions to be made or not made. And I would look at this and say 9 to 10 wins is what he needs to get support from the administration, to get support from the fans, to keep his job and move on. I think if he goes 8-4 even, I think he's a dead man walking. Maybe they wait another year to make the buyout go down. I don't know. But this is a team that was playing for national championships when Lincoln Riley was there. This is a team that was making the college football playoff when Lincoln Riley was there. And now they're getting their freaking asses kicked every weekend. And I don't think their fans are happy about it. Do I care? No. But I think the Oklahoma fans care because they're irrelevant. And I'm not trying to be mean or make fun of them. I'm just saying, dude, you watched their offense last year, and it was a freaking mess. And somebody's got to be held accountable. They went out and they got the director of the Senior Bowl to come in and be their general manager. I think he's improved the talent pool. And now this guy needs to get him to play, James.
If it wasn't for the Alabama game, that's the only thing he has to hang his hat on.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that was for big. A guy that's known for his defense, how many times did teams drop 30 on him?
A lot. A lot.
I mean,
and I think a lot of that was due to the offense not being able to even stay on the field. And string drives together and go down and get points and give the defense some rest. I mean, I'm not going to lay it all on his defense. The offense was an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, they've got their quarterback now, this kid showed some stuff, John Mateer in Washington State. I got to admit, I went back, I was like, who is this guy? What are we doing? And I went back and watched. And I admit that I was a little quick to judge. He looks like he's got, some of it. But do I think he's got more higher ceiling than Arnold? I don't know about that. We'll see what Arnold looks like in Auburn. Obviously, he hasn't looked that great so far. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be the guy that's going to come in and save the day. I mean, do you see that type of talent to get this team win 10 games in the conference they're in?
It's possible. I mean, I really like that Jaden Ott at tail, the Cal transfer. He's pretty legit. Yeah. And Deion Burks, the former Purdue receiver. It's just, I don't trust Brent Venables. I mean, honest to God, I mean, think about it. From a DC standpoint, outside of 1 year, when he got fired at Oklahoma, when he was at K-State in Oklahoma, and he had all those great defenses, even at Clemson, how many times was he a finalist for a job and couldn't get the job? And you got to start wondering,
why?
Was he interviewing wrong? What are we not seeing? I think we're seeing it now.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that good of a coach. Plain and simple. I mean,
well, and maybe he's just one of those guys that's a great coordinator. That's a great defensive corner. That's a great coach, but he's not a great head coach. We've seen that so many times, James, where these guys, for whatever reason, they move into the head coaching role and it doesn't go like they want it to. It's just they're not a good fit. They're not the guy that can manage everything. And maybe he's one of them, and we'll see what happens. But I do think he's got to win 9-10 games to get people behind him. Another guy that has proven that he can coach, and we've seen it. That's this guy, Luke Fickell. He's been a coach at Ohio State. He's been the head coach at Cincinnati. This guy took Cincinnati places that we never thought they could go. Why is it not working in Wisconsin, James? Why has he not been able to win at a school that has a rich tradition of winning?
That team has no identity at all. Like, I've been to Badger games. I mean, they'll show up for a couple quarters like they did against Oregon last year. But, I mean, a team that was built on their line of scrimmage play, especially offense and defensive line, they really don't play with passion. Like, it's just kind of like they're going through the free, like they expect everybody to roll over for them, and they're not that good. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of shocked they went to a 3 and 4 wide receiver set when they brought what's his name? What's his name? He's now at Sam Houston State. The coach, he was their former at North Carolina as their OC O-line coach, Phil Longo. Phil. God, why am I? Yeah. I mean, it just, their offense had no identity whatsoever. Like, they're trying to throw the ball, but they didn't have the personnel to do it. Yeah. This team was known for really pounding the ball, owning the line of scrimmage, getting in third and short, not turning the ball over. I mean, heck, there are many games last year where they just got plain blown off the freaking ball. They just got their ass handed to them. And it makes me wonder if Fickell may be a good coach, but I mean, everything I keep hearing from the NIL front is Wisconsin's like not just behind the curve, they're at the back of the curve. And they got to step up. Now, another thing that he's got going for him, $31.6 million buyout.
Yeah. I mean, that's 36.1 million reasons not to fire him. However, let's just, call a spade. This guy's 13-13 at Wisconsin. What you did at Cincinnati can only go so far to the next location. Obviously, he came in with all the bells and whistles, riding into town with taking Cincinnati, the places he took them to, Desmond Ridder, Sauce Gardner, all the boys over there. That was a hell of a team, and they exceeded my expectations, probably everybody's expectations. But now the truth is he's 13-13, and Wisconsin is just, they're meh at best. I mean, this is not a team that's competing for the Big Ten championship. And what are we talking about here with Billy Edwards Jr. is going to be your quarterback? Who the hell is Billy Edwards Jr., James?
He was a gunslinger at Maryland, but he throws a lot of touchdowns, but he throws a lot of interceptions. Like, listen to the schedule. Like,
wait a second. Listen to yourself. A gunslinger at Maryland. Okay.
Well, he's playing for Mike Loxley. All right, here, listen to the schedule. This is why I'm like, not only is Wisconsin in trouble, I don't know where you get 4 wins. 4. No. Home against Miami of Ohio. Home against Middle Tennessee State. And
there's two.
Hellfire comes down. At Bama. Home against Maryland. At Michigan. Home against Iowa. Home against Ohio State. At Oregon. Home against Washington. At Indiana. Home against Illinois. At Minnesota. Where do you get 4?
Yikes.
Where?
I could see maybe 4, maybe 5, but that's like if things go well. If the ball bounces their way.
They got to beat Maryland. They're not going to beat Bama. They're not going to beat Michigan. They're not going to beat Iowa. They're not going to beat Ohio State. They're not going to beat Oregon. You got to pray you beat Washington, who's decent this year. You're going to lose to Indiana. You're going to lose to Illinois. You're going to lose to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Maryland and Wisconsin, Maryland and Washington, both home games, and that's just to get to 4 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I could see maybe 4, maybe 5, but I'm telling you, do you think 4 or 5 wins keeps his job?
I got 31 million reasons why they're not going to fire him.
Yeah,
unless there's a donor that steps up, it ain't happening.
If they go 4-8, I mean, he's already 13-13. You string together another season where you're 4-8. You can do the math there on where that puts him. I mean, you're talking about a losing record. You're talking about 3 years of irrelevancy in the Big Ten Conference, of irrelevancy in college football. I can't imagine that Barry Alvarez is going to be real happy about what's going on.
Remember, Barry's no longer there. Barry's been retired. But you're right. I mean, it's. Yeah,
no, I'm saying they'll go get him and bring him back. I just don't think I don't think they're gonna put up with this shit up there much longer. Couple more guys that are on the hot seat. You tell me who's on the biggest hot seat. Hugh Freeze, Auburn.
Big time.
Sam Pittman, Arkansas.
Big time.
Billy Napier, Florida.
Yep.
Lincoln Riley, USC.
I want to say yes, but I believe it's a no.
Okay. And what about Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State?
God, no.
Well, they talked to him last year and made him, essentially forced him to lower his own buyout in his contract. Why would they do that if they weren't considering potentially making a move? Last year was bad, James. Last year was bad. I'm not saying they're just going to get rid of him on a whim, but let's say they have another season like last year. 15 million would be his buyout after they renegotiated it.
How many years has this guy where we went in, looked at his roster and said, how does he win 4 games? And the freaking guy goes out and wins 9, 10 and competes for a Big 12 title. Over and over and over again. I mean, last year was the anomaly. And now you're talking about buying him out. I mean, the wheels have got to completely fall off. I mean, we're going to be talking 4-8 again.
Yeah, again. I mean, that's 2 seasons of 4-8. That's what I'm talking about. If they suck, and they sucked.
But who are they going to get?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing is you get rid of them. That means you got to get somebody better. Just because you get rid of somebody doesn't mean it's better. I mean,
how many times have we seen a team get rid of their coach and not have a plan? I mean, this wouldn't be the first time that a team has gone and pulled the trigger and had no guy waiting in the waiting in the wings.
You mean the SEC? I mean, literally.
Tennessee did it. Tennessee did it 6 times. So I mean, they got rid of their national championship winning coach and Philip J. Fulmer. And they brought in Lane Kiffin, who just went 4-12 at the Raiders. So, it's been done, and we'll see.
Hugh Freeze is almost a guarantee in my mind. Here, I heard a rumor on this, and I hope it's not true. But call me crazy, it's Hugh Freeze. The guy forgot to buy a burner phone, for Christ's sake, when he was at when he was at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They are planning on having Derek Nix, their offensive coordinator, call plays on first down. Hugh Freeze, their head coach, will call plays on second down. And then, hear me out, Kent Austin, their quarterback's coach, will call plays on third down. God forbid they get the fourth down, because they're going to have to call a timeout because no one's going to know who to call the fucking plays.
I feel like we talk about Auburn's coach being on the hot seat every time they get a new one. Is that not true? I mean, Gus Malzahn, Brian Harsin, Hugh Freeze. I mean, it doesn't seem to matter who the coach is. They want to fire him because they think they're going to win the national championship every year in Auburn. And it's like, you're not Bama, bro. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm not trying to say that you're a horrible program or something, but you talk about Auburn and I think their expectations exceed, potentially what they are.
I mean, honest to God, Auburn should be so much better than they are, but how many times do they always trip over their own dick? Like literally all the time. I mean, Gus Malzahn, I'm still blown away the guy got fired. Blown away. He had no business being fired.
I agree.
But, I mean, once again, they find a way to believe that something is greater than they are. And I
fire somebody with no plan. So, and we're going to talk more about the SEC. We're going to break it down pretty heavily here in 30 seconds.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
What are you waiting for? Go to the SeatGeek.com website and type in promo code NSS. Get your reduction in ticket prices. We are only a couple weeks away, folks, from game. We're here in Dublin, Ireland, as you can see behind us in this beautiful stadium, getting ready for Kansas State, Iowa State. Get your tickets now. Type in promo code NSS. Go to SeatGeek. Get to the games. Don't sit at your house and watch them on TV like a putz. Go to the stadium, for God's sake. Go to the damn stadium and cheer and take your shirt off. Wear a jersey and be an idiot. It's fun. God's sakes, man. Do something.
You got Texas, Ohio State in 2 weeks. Texas, Ohio State to kick off the year. Next week, you got K-State at Iowa State. Get on a plane. Get over to Dublin. Buy your tickets at SeatGeek.
Yeah, do it to it. Come on, fellas. We need you. Let's talk a little bit about another conference that exists. And what I mean by that is the SEC conference. We broke down the Big Ten pretty heavily. We talked a little bit about what's going down in the Big Ten. And now I guess we need to also discuss the SEC and what's happening there. And I want to talk first about some of the guys that are going to, come into this conference and be there for the first time, either transfers, freshmen, guys, James, that we should have an eye out for that we may not recall because they weren't in the SEC last year. Who stands out to you as an impact guy, transfer, freshman, either one? Let's do transfer first.
I got 3 names that pop off the charts for me. First, a kid I've been impressed with since his senior year of high school at Bishop Gorman, the former USC Trojan, the receiver, Zachariah Branch. He goes across the country from LA to Georgia. This kid's got real speed. And this kid's a real receiver. They just got to find a way to Gunnar Stockton's got to find a way to get him the ball because he can make plays. KC Concepcion going from NC State to Texas A&M, really good receiver. And then Princewell, the Nigerian kid, Princewell Umanalele, I always destroy this name. Uman Milian.
Not bad.
Nebraska to Ole Miss. His brother Princely played at Ole Miss, before that at Florida. His other brothers at Tarleton State. This is a family. Big kids, athletic, love coming off the edge. Those are 3 kids that really jumped off the page to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we also need to look at Peyton. Did you mention Patrick Payton?
From Florida State. Yeah,
from Florida State.
Yeah,
going to LSU. He's another one that really I think we need to keep an eye on. He is a pretty good edge player, and we've seen edge players come out of LSU for about 29 years in a row. So I think he may be another one to keep our eye on. We mentioned him earlier, John Mateer, the quarterback from Washington State going to Oklahoma. I think that's another one that should probably be mentioned as well. We did mention him, so I will say we don't need to. And then also Josh Thompson, interior offensive lineman from Northwestern going to LSU. LSU hit the portal pretty hard, James. And that's a team, I think, that understands that they need to win. We all talk about, getting to the college football playoff. Brian Kelly's whole thing was he was leaving Notre Dame because he couldn't win the national championship there, couldn't make the playoff there. He made it a couple times, but whatever. And then he goes to LSU. He makes the playoff 0 times, and Marcus Freeman takes over his job and gets them to the national championship game. It's kind of been a reversal of fortunes. Do you think these transfer players are going to be able to help them improve?
I like the direction LSU's going. They haven't had the depth they've had under previous coaches like Les Miles and previous regimes. Kelly's got to get that depth because the depth has always been the mainstay of what LSU has always been.
I agree, and this is the year to do it. And I think we're going to see right away what they're looking like when they play Clemson. What about the freshmen that you think will make an impact? Is there anybody that'll stand out to you that is in the SEC that I think we need to keep our eyes on, that's going to come in and do something right away? Obviously, I look right away at David Sanders, the offensive lineman from Tennessee. I think he was the number 1 player in all of the country. I think he's going to start immediately. and get some playing time. I think DJ Pickett, the corner from LSU, is going to get out there pretty early. Is there anyone else, James, that sticks out to you besides those two guys?
Yeah, I love Sanders. I mean, Providence Country Day is a powerhouse program in North Carolina, but another kid that I really like is Elijah Griffin out of Savannah Christian Prep, a powerhouse program out of Georgia. I think that kid has a realistic chance of not starting at the beginning of the year, but being a major contributor and start at the end of the year. And really, if Georgia's going to take that next step this year, they need a guy like Griffin to do it.
I agree. I think he will be on the field in 2025. There's no doubt. One other player that I'd like to mention as far as a freshman goes that I think is going to get some playing time. If you talk about somebody who just has been tearing it up in the spring and the fall camp, that's Grayson Littleton, the corner out of Texas. This kid is physical. He's opportunistic. He's 6 foot, 175. He ran a verified 4.540. In high school. I think this guy can really get it done. He's from Wiregrass Ranch High School in Tampa. I think he'll probably fighting for that nickel position in Texas. And I think he might be a guy that could potentially come in and do it in a good way. We've seen freshmen make impacts there before. And I think we could see it again. The other corner that I think could potentially get some time is Dejoun Lee, the corner at Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see there. There's also another freshman, Travis Smith Jr. here at Tennessee. Tennessee is struggling at wide receiver right now. They've got 6 or 7 guys that are banged up. So who knows who will be out there at wide receiver for the Vols when they take on Syracuse and out Atlanta in just 2 short weeks away. But I think that's something to look at and be keeping our eye on as far as who's going to be out there for the Volunteers at the wide receiver position. I think some of these freshmen might be part of that action. Let's go ahead and jump into which teams we think are going to make the most noise, which teams we like in the conference, and which teams we think are going to make the most noise in the SEC in 2025. This is the ESPN top 10 right here that we're looking at. They've got Texas, Georgia, Bama, LSU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Florida, South Carolina. To me, James, the one that I think could potentially move up this list is South Carolina. I don't know if Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Florida are necessarily better than the Gamecocks. I know they lost some pieces, but they do have their quarterback coming back. I don't know. What do you think about this list? How does your top 10 compare to what ESPN went with?
It's funny. I look at this and there's definite groupings, and I love their first grouping with Texas, Georgia, Bama, and LSU. I'd rearrange it a little bit. I like Bama the best because I think they're the strongest up front. Plus, I mean, we don't know what we have with Arch Manning. We really don't. I mean, I'm personally thinking Alabama 1, LSU, Texas 3, Georgia 4.
Whoa.
But you could really intermix those 4. I think Georgia at 4 is probably the most logical for me. But LSU, you bring in Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, that kid is a freaking gamer. And right now, I'd put him as my preseason prediction to win the Heisman.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is going out on a limb. And I do think that Nussmeier showed me some stuff last year. I was impressed by him. I thought he proved that he can be a factor in this conference. It's all going to come down to me is the first week of the season.
Yeah.
If LSU can come out and beat Clemson in the opener and show that they are a team that can take down a potential college football playoff team, I will be on board with it. I just need to see Brian Kelly do it. This guy hasn't won an opener since he's been the coach there. And now we look at you talk about Georgia, and you're not as high on Georgia as some people are. I understand. I think you've got some points there. But there are some guys that are, I think, going to come in and help this Georgia team. Some dudes that, may not be household names yet, but that are going to be by the season's end. One of them is Christian Miller, the redshirt junior. He's a defensive tackle, number 52. This kid is the next Mauler in Georgia program history. We've seen these defensive linemen come out of Georgia for years now. Jalen Carter, his counterpart, who plays with him for the Eagles and helped them win a Super Bowl title. I think Christian Miller is another kid that can do it. I think, some people may not have heard of him, but he's from Ellenwood, Georgia. He went to Cedar Grove High School. This guy's 6'4", 310. He only had a sack and a half last year and 12 tackles, but that's because he wasn't getting a ton of time. I think he will come in and help right away and be a force. The other guy is Gabe Harris, another kid that's going to come in and be probably more of a rush factor for them. I think he's another guy that can come in and get it done right away. Maybe not a ton of people know who that is, but I do think he's going to be a force. Does this defense get back to national championship caliber, James? Do you see this on paper, at least, this Georgia defense being a national title?
They don't have the depth they once did. I mean, you look back at that Georgia, when Georgia had their run, that defensive line was kind of like that Clemson defensive line when Dabo had them going. I mean, you had 5-6 guys that you're sitting there and like, they're legitimate first-round draft choices. I don't see that with these guys. There's not near the depth, and that probably part of it because of the transfer portal too as well. I think if Gunnar Stockton, I think I liked what I saw in his first start. Like, is he going to be a game breaker? No, but don't turn the ball over or get him in third and short. He's not going to be a guy he's not Matt Stafford. He doesn't have a live wire arm. But find ways to get Zach Branch, and Frazier's a solid running back. The offensive line, though, has got to be more consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Nate Frazier, the running back. I think if he can stay healthy, they're in good shape. They went out and got a difference maker in Zachariah Branch. They also went out and got Noah Thomas, another wide receiver who was at Texas A&M. This guy, could potentially upgrade them. He's going to start. They also have Dylan Bell as their third wide receiver. And then, the tight end, Oscar Delp. The one other guy that really is a difference maker is that free safety, KJ Bolden.
That
guy is a stud. He's going to be playing on Sunday. There is no doubt. We will see it. Another team that I want to break down a little bit with you is the Texas A&M Aggies. Obviously, ESPN has them right there at number 5. I don't know about that. This Mike Elko, he did some good things at Duke. Now he goes into Texas A&M, and he keeps them firm at their solid 8-4. This team cannot go 8-4 again this year. They like Marcel Reed, the quarterback. I think he showed some flashes. Do I think he's a guaranteed bona fide stud in the SEC? I'm not sure about that yet. Some people think so. We'll see. I do like their offensive line, and I like their running back, Le'Veon Moss. What do you think about Texas A&M? What do you think about what they can do in 2025, James?
Well, not only that, Marcel Reed. That kid is especially his run game is very impressive. It's Texas A&M. How many times, literally, we just passed our Texas A&M anniversary on August 4th. No matter how good they are, it seems like 8-4 is their ceiling, and they find ways to piss games away. I until I see something different, I'm not gonna get off that train. They find ways to lose games.
They definitely
over
do.
And over.
I definitely do. I do like their schedule, however. They start off with a tough one, obviously, with Notre Dame. But then, they play Florida, they play Arkansas, Missouri, they play Mississippi State, they play LSU, South Carolina, they play Auburn, but there's no, and then they finish the season, obviously, with Texas. There's no Georgia on there. They don't have to play Tennessee. I think this is a navigatable, if that's a word, schedule for Mike Elko and the Texas A&M Aggies. What do you think?
I see 8-4.
Way to go out there on a limb.
I see they're gonna lose to Notre Dame. I see they're gonna lose to LSU. They're gonna lose to South Carolina, and they're gonna lose to Texas. 8-4.
Okay. I can see that. All right, another team here that I want to break into real quick. We're almost out of time, but I do want to talk about the Ole Miss Rebels. Jackson Dart is gone. They lost a lot of folks off this team. Now, Lane Kiffin can hit the damn portal. You can say whatever you want to about this this fella, but you cannot say he doesn't know how to go out and bring kids in. He takes the lunch pail full of cash and passes it out to anybody that has their hands in that position. Austin Simmons, redshirt sophomore, 6'4", big kid. Don't know a ton about this guy. I mean, we haven't seen a whole lot from him, but he is going to be expected to come in and make things happen. They've got Logan Diggs, who's on his third team now.
Yeah.
We've seen some good from him. We've seen some bad. When it looks good, it looks good. When it looks bad, it looks bad. What do you think about the Ole Miss Rebels? What do you think about this quarterback? And how good do you think this team can be? Can they compete to be in the playoff like they were last year or no? I mean, they weren't in the playoff. They were close.
Honestly, until you prove me different, I like Ole Miss. I mean, what Lane Kiffin does, I mean, they are being outgunned on the NIL front by so much. And they do more with less than any. I mean, they can make a run every like 3 or 4 or 5 years from an NIL standpoint, but year after year, they can't do it. Like last year was their year, and they just couldn't put it together. Quarterback-wise, name me the last quarterback that Lane Kiffin had that's been subpar. You can't. And that's why I believe in Austin Simmons.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he seems to, even when he was the offensive coordinator at Alabama, we saw quarterbacks getting it done when he was at USC even.
FAU.
This guy's got he's got a good track record of bringing along the quarterback position, and I will give him that. One more team. We mentioned this guy, Billy Napier, finished the season actually really strong. We thought he was gone last year. And he went out. We saw the last 4 games of the season. I admit whenever I'm wrong, not maybe whenever, but sometimes I do. And I was wrong. I thought they were going to lose out, and they won all 4 games. And really, really impressed me with the way they finished the season. However, they have another difficult schedule. Once again, maybe not the number 1 most difficult in the country, but they're probably still up there in the top 10. DJ Lagway, showed us some things as a freshman. He's been a little bit banged up in fall camp, but I do think he's proven that he can play in this league. James, what do you think about him? I guess first off, and are you worried at all about him health-wise?
I am a little bit. Because Florida's offensive line has been kind of shaky from year to year, even when they bring all their starters back. But I mean, the kid's got talent. I mean, you look at it. I mean, he's a kid that really came out of nowhere on the recruiting scene from his junior to his senior year, and literally just shot up the boards. And look what he's at today. I mean, they got him he got him some starting time last year as a true freshman. Really overperformed in many ways. Like, he still showed his freshmanness from here and there, but honestly, I like the kid. I think Florida's biggest problem isn't on the field. It's up in the freaking luxury boxes with their crazy ass freaking alumni base. I'm sorry. This is not a Steve Spurrier type of team. This is not an Urban Meyer type of team. You got to give it time for Napier to develop this organization and allow him to coach. I mean, their alumni base is freaking nuts. I mean, they're like rivaling Texas A&M for crazy status.
Well, yeah, and they, let's be honest, Dan Mullen, we talked about him last week. He kind of left a mess for somebody to come and clean up. And you got to clean up the mess before you can put the new floor down. You know what I mean? And I think he's working towards that. I think Billy Napier, I liked what he did Louisiana had his previous stop. And I think, with those last 4 games showed me that, he can get it done if they might give him time to do so. They are going to rely on the freshman, Dallas Wilson, to come in and probably start right away. Don't know how that'll go, but he's certainly a talented young man. So we'll see what happens there. The last team I want to touch on before we get out of here is the Tennessee Volunteers. We've discussed the Nico situation ad nauseum. It looks like, from what I'm hearing, the kid from Appalachian State, and I guess he was at UCLA for like about a month, that he is going to end up taking the job and being the new quarterback there over Merklinger and over the young freshman. What do you think the ceiling is for this Tennessee team? Obviously, the defense is still probably going to be their strong point. And I would, that's the one thing I'm going to give Josh Heupel a ton of credit on, is that he does go out there and morph his team based upon their strengths. If they've got a high-powered offense, if they got Hendon Hooker, they got Jalen Hyatt, they got Cedric Tillman, they'll go out and beat people scoring points. If their offense sucks or isn't up to snuff, they build up that defense and use the defense and lean on the running game and whatever. So, what do you think about this Tennessee team, and what do you think their ceiling is in 2025?
I think their ceiling is completely dependent on two things. Their offensive line, especially David Sanders, taking that next step as a true freshman. And on the back of Deshaun Bishop, I think Deshaun Bishop has got to have a Dylan Sampson type of year for Tennessee to be even smelling the top 5 spots in the SEC. And the defense has got to play lights out. Like they got to play a lot similar to what they played last year, because honestly, are you going to really trust the ball in Joey Aguilar's hands? Because Chris Braswell is probably your best receiver coming back, and health-wise, let's be honest, sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not.
Very true. And we already discussed that they've been struggling mightily with keeping these wide receivers healthy. Sophomore Mike Matthews was a highly ballyhooed recruit. He has not really performed up to what they had hoped. They're going to have Braylon Staley out there. Boo Carter is a guy who's been away from the program for whatever reason. There's been speculation galore down here about what happened, but he was gone. He wasn't at a lot of the summer workouts or any of them. From what I hear, he missed the first week and a half, 2 weeks of camp. He is back into the program at this point, but, is he ready to go? I don't know. They were counting on this guy to play offense, defense, and special teams. So you would think that you'd want him to possibly be at practice, James.
It helped.
I think Boo Carter is a guy to keep your eye on as well, because if you're counting on him to be your starting corner, if you're counting on him to come out and play some offense, if you're counting on him to be your kick returner, you're going to need him to suit up and be there. And then, Deshaun Bishop, I'm glad you mentioned him as a guy that's been on this show, a guy that we know pretty well here with, being from Knoxville, Tennessee, playing for Carnes High School. I went out, watched a couple of his high school games, interviewed him for man coverage, and was impressed with this young man. Do I think he's Dylan Sampson? I don't know. I don't know about that. I do love him. I do like him as a young man. I love him as a running back, but Dylan Sampson was the best running back in the SEC, was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year last year. I do think that's a tough ask. I think, what was the other kid's name? Peyton Lewis, that played, got some time last year. I think if they are able to, not put it all on his shoulders, I think they picked up a graduate transfer in Star Thomas as well. So they may have a little bit of a 3-headed monster, which Josh Heupel's been pretty good about that, rotating his back. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But I do think the points that you referenced are what is to keep our eye on as we go forward. Any last thoughts before we close out here on the SEC, James?
It's funny you bring up Deshaun Bishop and how he's, is he Dylan Sampson? We don't know yet. But, when Sal Aseni died, what did people know about Darian Hagan? And look at how that man stepped up. Not only winning the Big 12, but was a play away from winning a national championship and then wins it the next year. I mean, when the you know where the stars come when the lights turn on. Can Deshaun Bishop be that guy? I think he can. I think he really has that ability to be that guy and follow in that Dylan Sampson mindset.
Yeah, well, and Dylan Simmons is not dead, everyone. He's
not
playing,
dead.
He's playing for the Browns.
He's playing in the NFL, but he's no longer in Tennessee. Yeah,
I just wanted to make that very clear. Yeah, we do need to call Darian Hagan, get him to come back on the show. If you missed that interview, please go to YouTube at Man Coverage 2075. Look it up. Darian Hagan, one of my favorite players of all time, one of the best guys that I know. Go check that interview out because he talks all about that season at Colorado where he was thrust in to the starting position, took over the quarterback spot, became a leader on that team, grew up overnight, and led the Buffaloes to the national championship. We're going to break down the Big 12, some of the other conferences on our next show, obviously talk about the other current events, and then get you ready for week 0 and week 1 of college football. So make sure to come back to see us at Man Coverage. As I mentioned, go to YouTube, type in at Man Coverage 2075, smash that like button and the subscribe, and see us on Twitter at Man Coverage. James, keep your chin up. Have a good week. Good luck to the boys in their first high school game. We'll be watching the Knoxville Catholic Fighting Irish. Going to be taking on their first opponent. And then also, James, what I was going to tell you about yesterday, my boy Ian Moffitt, one of my friends from high school or middle school, going back even further, his son is a sophomore taking over the starting quarterback position at CAK. This kid is absolutely ridiculous. He should have started as a freshman, but the powers that be wanted their
CAK.
wanted their Christian Academy of Knoxville.
Oh, okay.
They wanted their, son, who was a senior, to start. That lasted about 6 games. And then they were like, whoa, we got to let the tiger loose. And they put the young freshman in. He threw for over 1,500 yards, ran for 500, threw touchdowns. Now he's the preseason quarterback of the year in Prep Extra, which is for this region. And he's only a sophomore. So I'm telling you, man, he went down to the Manning Academy in Louisiana. Was down there with the quarterback from Arizona State. Give me his name.
Sam Levitt.
Thank you. Sam Levitt was his counselor. Loved him. Check him out, man. Go up. Look at his name. Seton Moffitt. He's a sophomore. I picked him out as a freshman, started going to watch his games, and I'm going to be there at week 1 when CAK is taking on Concord Christian. And our friend of the program, head coach Steve Matthews, who used to be won 2 state championships at Knox Catholic. He's now the coach at Concord Christian, and they'll be playing Seton Moffitt and CAK in week 1. So keep your eye on that and come back and see us next week as we'll be talking about more college football here on Man Coverage. Make sure, if you're going to be watching a little college football, get your wallet out. Buy your tickets at SeatGeek.com, go to the damn games, and go to BetUs.com and, get yourself some bets. I mean, what the hell? You're gonna win some cash and make your wife happy or what? Go pick some winners and go to BetUs.com right now and place your wagers.
National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com. Designed for true fans. NFL odds, week 1 and futures. College football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds. NBA odds of division winners and playoffs. Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds. The National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds. And boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners. Also, during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage, for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.